Hello, welcome to the Mo Diversity YouTube channel, and we are here with a treat for you. I hope you're excited because we are celebrating Black History Month at the Mo Diversity YouTube channel, and we have a special series for you, and it is women of color and celebrating their careers and their passion for the things that they do in their lives. And I'm super excited because we have a long list that's coming up, but today is very special to me because it's somebody in my home state that I've met, and I'm super excited. She's a beautiful woman, but I'm gonna hold off and I'm gonna let y'all see her in a minute. But I gotta bring the team out. Let's start off with the judge.
What's
going on,
up, everyone? We have a very special episode today and a very special guest. I'm super excited. Let's get into it. Let's go.
All right. Now we gotta go to the, how can I say this? Come on, stop.
What is going on, everybody? It's Quamon Star G, and I'm just happy to be here on this Sunday evening and talking it up with a very, 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 very awesome individual, all the way from Mike Stomping Grounds, Winston-Salem, South Carolina.
That's South Carolina.
Is it North Carolina? Abort.
You can't come no more. You can't come no more.
You know these compasses: west, east, south, north. That always messes me up.
Bro, not you said south. I can't believe you.
My bad.
I'm gonna throw a red shell at you on Mario Kart. Just let you know.
And then Mario Kart. We'll get to all that later. I'm just happy to be here. Can't wait for y'all to watch all of this and enjoy it.
Yes. And then last but not least, from New Genesis himself.
Not South Carolina.
Oh my God.
I want to talk about this. This is not the regular.
This is not about me.
You're right. You're right. Oh, that's how we start Black History Month. Oh my gosh. You know what's up, everybody? It's Aaron, Ron. That's what we're going with today. I'm excited for what we're doing for Black History Month. This is just a really cool series. This is so cool.
Yeah, I'm like super excited because when we were thinking about it and planning it, I thought we all came together and was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's put Black women at the forefront of our podcast this month. And I think it's amazing because, the people that we have coming on are truly pioneers and legends already just because of them putting themselves out there with their careers and their passions. So let's just get right into it. We have today Camille Gayle. She is a news anchor in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I'm super excited because, like I said, I've met her. Beautiful woman. Love her to death. She comes to my job. She eats French toast all the time with me. But she's one of my, when we was thinking and planning, I was like, oh my God, I think she would be great. Somebody local. I pride on putting people that are near me and in our own cities. And because a lot of times, especially when it comes to people of color, whether you're a news anchor, a writer, a photographer, whatever career you're in, I don't feel like the local people get enough attention. I don't feel like, they get to actually tell their story. So that's what I'm super excited that Camille is here so that she can tell her story. I do want to play something. She has a segment called Pay It Forward, and I love this. So let's check this out real quick.
ABC 45 News discovers Triad residents who make an impact in their community. People putting others first and doing extraordinary things. Watch Pay It Forward with Camille Gayle on ABC 45 News at 6 and 11. To submit your nomination, email us at news@abc45.com.
This is amazing already. So without further ado, Miss Camille. Wait a minute.
Hello.
Woo!
Yes, hi. It's such a warm welcome. Thank you all so much for your kind words. This is so sweet. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming and accepting the invite. I'm excited because I remember the first time I met you, I wanted you to talk. I'm sorry?
That was a long time ago. That was almost a year ago.
Yes. So I'm super excited because I mean you've came in a couple of times, but I'm super excited that you accepted this invitation for us to do this with you. Like I said, we congratulate you on your career and everything that you've done for the community.
Yeah, it's crazy. I normally do interviewing, but now I'm being interviewed. I love it. I love being on the other side. Ask me all the questions. It's great.
I'm about to say, how does that feel being on? We can just start off with that, break the ice. Like, how does it feel being in the chair, being interviewed? Like, because I know when I asked you the first time, you was like surprised, but now actually it's a reality, and we are interviewing you after you interview people. How does it feel?
It's weird because in my mind, it's ask questions. So when people ask me questions, it's like it takes longer for me to answer because I have to think of an answer versus always being in question mode. But I love talking. That's why I got into the industry that I'm in. So it should be no problem.
Nice. So yeah, let's go and kick this off real good. Miss Avia, you are first with your question.
Okay, so what was one of the most inspirational stories you covered? Like something that has stuck with you like for a very long time?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of stories that I've told. I would say a story that really changed my thought process on a lot of things was in the height of the pandemic. I did a story on a child with autism and online learning. Well, when you initially think of that topic and I pitched the story, it was coming from a standpoint of how this is going to be difficult for the child, right? They have autism, they need a lot more attention when it comes to learning, they need a lot more resources, and then not being in the classroom, you think they're gonna have a tough time. Well, when I showed up to the interview and I interviewed the child and his mother, it turns out that he loves online learning. He had a lot of bullying going on at school. It was sensory overload at school. He liked being in the comfort of his home. And the story completely changed on the drop of a dime. And I was like, this was not what I came in here with, that mindset. And just seeing him, and he was so comfortable when it was a one-on-one, it just really changed my thinking of, you just really think you know something and you don't. You do research on all that they need, and I'm like, oh, he's probably struggling so much. And I showed up and he was chilling. It was fantastic. We had a great time. And that not only helped me as a journalist, but also as a person. It's like, just don't judge a book by its cover. There's a lot of depth, there's a lot of meaning behind each individual person. Every story is different day to day. So that just really changed my thought process on all things and how I approach a lot of things now.
Awesome.
I would like to ask, what, I know you said you just told us that you got into this because you like to talk. What was your year one like, your origin story of like after school and everything? What was your year one like, that process and everything?
Okay, so I always knew I wanted to, it's crazy because I say be on TV, but it was more than that when I figured it out. My parents are immigrants from Jamaica, so neither of them went to school here. So they didn't understand the process of applying to schools and going to university and all of that stuff. So I just told my dad one day, I said, well, I want to do that. And we were watching Extra. We would watch Extra every night because we had to eat dinner at the dinner table at 6 o'clock and it came on at 7. So I was like, I want to do that. Like, I just want to tell stories like that, be on TV. We researched it, found out it was broadcast journalism. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and I got my degree at FIU in Miami. So FIU is a predominantly Hispanic university. So a lot of the resources and stuff were for Hispanic students. So you're talking Univision, you're talking about Telemundo, you're talking about all these different broadcast corporations that didn't really apply to me. So I did a lot of research myself, a lot of reaching out, a lot of just like, how do I do this? Well, after I graduated, I got an internship at WPLG Local 10 News, it's the ABC affiliate in Miami. And I did that for a semester after I graduated. They were able to get me in because I got my teacher to sign off on it before I graduated. So I spent my semester after graduation interning. And I was like, I'm great, right? Like, I'm fantastic. After I did my internship, I thought I was good. All I have to do is just apply. I knew in the industry you have to start small, so you have to go to a smaller city, a smaller market. I knew all of that. I was okay with that. Got my reel together, which is a resume tape. I applied to maybe 200 stations. Didn't hear anything for a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
After school, I did not get a job. I received no after no after no. I couldn't understand why. I thought I did everything right. I thought I, checked all the boxes, and I could not get a job. So I moved back to Tampa and started working in radio, not on air. I was part of the street team. So I would go out to concerts, to different venues, and we just really partied for a job. We gave out swag, we took pictures with people. I was in the club, taking pictures on Saturday night. It was not where I pictured myself after with a degree, with an internship in broadcast journalism. And you can imagine me seeing the on-air talent at my station. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. Instead, I'm in a tank top and some jean shorts, sweating. This is not how I saw my life. I was very discouraged for a long time. I did more research. I looked up getting an agent, and horrible decision, but I just did what I had to do. Finally, he got me a job in Dothan, Alabama. If any of you know where that is, God bless you. I did it. He told me I got the job, and I had to look it up on Google. It's like, where am I going? Looked it up on Google. Small city. Cover on the entire city in like 15 minutes. On a market scale for television news, you have market 1, and then you have like 206, which is like a small city in like Montana. Number 1 is New York City, so it's based on population. Dothan was 173. So I was like as low as you can go. I took it because I was like, I haven't received any other offers. I have to take it. It was $11 an hour as a news reporter with a degree. And I took it. And I said, I have to get my foot in the door. So I packed up all my stuff and I moved to Dothan, Alabama in about a month after I got the offer. And it was October of 2017. And I just remember being in complete and utter shock at the amount of work it takes to be, we say reporter, but at that time I was a multimedia journalist. So that means that you shoot, write, edit all of your own stuff. You don't have a photographer, you're out by yourself, one-man band, getting your stories. And going from just like the fast life, the fun life of radio, very, strict, more conservative, more, ethically, like by the book. It was such a hard turn to change your mind into that and tap into what you learned in school, which you didn't. Everything that I know now is on the job training. Everything is based on experience in the field. And it was a very challenging time, not only with the politics and everything that was going on at the time, but Alabama being a conservative state. I came from Florida, which technically it's conservative, but I, grew up in Tampa, Florida, and got married in Miami, Florida, which was more on the liberal sides of living, and more diverse and more accepting. I moved to Dothan, Alabama, where it's very economically segregated. So the whites were very rich and the blacks were very poor, even though there was a lot of them. And they just had a different perspective on Black people. So that was my first time ever going to rural Alabama, and them looking at me like, what are you doing here? Who are you? If you didn't have station letters, they were looking at you crazy. You have, like, as soon as I opened my mouth, I was like, I'm with the TV station. And they're like, oh, okay. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. It opened my eyes, career-wise, personal life-wise. A lot of firsts for me. After that, I only had a contract for a year, so I was able to leave after a year. I then went to Macon, Georgia, which is about an hour south of Atlanta, and that was better. It was more socially, developed, a lot more to do. There was a college there, Mercer University, a lot of more young people, and that's probably where I grew the most. I started there as a multimedia journalist and a producer. And then I moved my way up to weekend anchor there. So there for 2 years, and then I came to Greensboro, where I am now the morning anchor. So I started out really, I really started from the bottom. Like, I mean, we were close, right? 206, I was at 173. I don't think we could have got much lower. But making was still in the hundreds, and now I'm in market 47. And I just learned so much along the way of the industry, but also as a person, a woman of color, a Black woman. The industry is not set up for us. There's not many of us. And when we do see another Black woman in news, it's amazing. It's amazing to see, because there's a lot of stories about Black women that sometimes get overlooked. And we have the ability to be that face, to be that voice to the voiceless. And I love it. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Oh my God, I love your origin story.
Never gave up. I never gave up. I knew that it was going to be rough. I did go through a lot of hard things, but I kept pushing, and I'm so glad I did, because I've met a lot of great people. I told a lot of great stories along the way.
That's what the main thing I was getting from you was your perseverance, and kept pushing towards it and going to that mile and continue to do, because you had it. You just had to go through your trials and tribulations to get where you are now. And I respect it and I love it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I have an easy road. It was not easy.
Thanks for sharing it.
Easy at all.
Yeah.
Q, you are next up.
I would like to go last, because I feel like my question is it's a pretty weighty question, and I don't want to take up any more time. I don't want to take up any sizable amount of time on my question. I would like to save it for the last.
Okay.
I want Aaron to go first before me.
Oh, he always does this to me. Oh, wow. Well, well. I mean, you kind of touched on it, a bit in basically that amazing origin story. But do you find yourself ever? I don't know if you can, talk about this too much, but do you ever find yourself fighting to get more stories of Black women out there?
No. I don't know if we're going to talk about Pay It Forward, or if you want to talk about Pay It Forward.
No, you can.
Our station is a little unique setup. It is a starter station. So ABC 45 News has had news operations in the past, but they've been off the air for years. And me and the team that you see now brought it back in January of last year. So it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of, let's just try it, because why not, right? If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, we'll try something else. And that's very rare in television, because, as you know, at your own home stations, you have a legacy station. You have a station that your mom watched every morning, that your grandma watched every morning, and they've just been on the air for that long. They don't like to change things, because they're number one for a reason, and they're not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So they're going to keep the same format that they've been doing for years, whereas we could come in and kind of say, hey, let's try this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's hard to get a series. It's hard to get a series at a station unless you're an established anchor or an established news station. So with me being the anchor, I said, I think we need something good, right? I've always wanted to tell the good stories. Anytime I was put on breaking news or crime or anything that had to do with death and destruction, I just didn't perform well. I did my job. Okay. I did my job very well. But I personally, I didn't feel like I was telling it right, because internally I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't like this. This is not me. I'm not being true to myself. I love to laugh. I love to, corny jokes are my favorite thing. I'm very goofy, and I like to be funny, and I'm smiling all the time. And so when I have to tell those stories, it's even hard for me to structure my face and serious. So that's why I chose morning news. It's more lighthearted. If you look at something in the morning, they have some more of those like interview type style, or they tell like consumer stories. It's more lighthearted. You don't want to hear about death and destruction when you first wake up. So I'm like, yes, me. Sign me up. Morning, please. Well, with my segment, I said, I really want to tell stories of people who are unsung heroes, right? Like they are doing community work. They are behind the scenes. They are not being highlighted. They are not broadcasting their stuff unless they need help. And I want to help them get help. So the purpose of Pay It Forward is highlighting those people, but not only giving them the recognition that they deserve, but also shining a spotlight on their organization. A lot of these people that I have highlighted have started organizations from the ground up, like on their own, and they need help. And that's really where Pay It Forward came from. And a lot of the people who have been nominated have been Black women. A lot. Almost all. It got to the point where I was like, I have to find a white man. I'm biased. You know, the media's biased. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be cancer, okay? Not because all I do is highlight Black women, but it just shows how much Black women put themselves on the back burner and putting everything else in, like they're like, no, I don't want to, I don't want the attention or anything like that. I just want to help. Luckily for me, with my with my segment, I can help them all I want. It's up to me. I choose who wins. I choose, I get the nominations and I put them on the air. I do strategically do it so it doesn't look like that, but everyone that gets nominated gets awarded. So it's been Black women the whole time, and it's every month. I've been doing it for almost a year now. So I don't get any pushback. They don't really say anything to me. It just happened that way, and it's great.
That's amazing.
And that's awesome.
I think that's amazing. The fact that it's not funny when you say you gotta get, like bias, but it shows the community of who they want. They want these Black women to be recognized, and I think that's just amazing because there are people that needs to be recognized. So I think Pay It Forward is amazing. Good work with that. Seriously, like
very, very proud of it. I will scream it from the rooftops. Please send me people because it is something that is needed. It's needed right now. A lot of people say they don't watch the news because they're tired of hearing of coronavirus, or they're tired of hearing of shootings and or people getting killed, kids getting killed with guns and gang violence. They just are tired of hearing it. And I just like to remind people that it's not all bad. And also there is a lot of good going on in our community. And that needs to be highlighted just as much as everything else.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I guess it's time for the final question. The question that is probably going to rock the foundations of this very recording.
I'm gonna lose my job.
no.
So the question that is on everyone's minds, that's on the tip of everyone's lips, but they were just too afraid to ask. But I'm going to ask them. Who do you have in the Super Bowl next Wednesday? The Rams or the Bengals?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't know if I told y'all, but I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Oh.
So we are the reigning Super Bowl champions. Just to put that out there.
Let's go. See, wait a minute. I just put two and two together. You know what? We can go ahead and wrap it up.
And that loss to the Rams did something to me, right? So I'm like, no. But I really want OBJ to get a ring, Von Miller. There's some people that they have on the team that have really been working and really deserve it. But I also root for the underdog, like the Bengals, because who thought?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But they would get here. So it's really a toss up to me. I always say I want the Bucs to win, but they're not in right now. So I just have to sit back and watch. like a spectator.
Well, don't feel too bad because everybody else here's team is doing the same thing. Our joke is we all fishing on the same boat during the Super Bowl weekend.
It's weird. I'm like, I can't even wear a shirt.
I will say the hometown hero Joe Burrow, representing Louisiana. I have to say, I hope he does well. I hope he does very well in his first Super Bowl. So I'll give him that. I will give him that.
Yeah, I'm indifferent. It's either or. I have a little bit of spite towards the Rams because of that game.
She said, "Look, it is what it is."
I'm just gonna watch. I don't even scream. I'm not even gonna cheer. Just hey, I'm here.
Just watch.
There's a party we can go to. That's all. That's where I'm at.
Amy, I think you said you and Camille had something in common.
What's that?
I found out that you are a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
I am.
Same. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Amazing. That's great. That's another thing that I've noticed in this industry. There is a lot of members, not only of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, but a lot of D9 are in this industry. And I think it's such a great representation because our organizations are heavily in the community and they have a lot of ties with the youth. I have met so many young girls who say, I want to do what you're doing, but I literally don't know how. And they almost feel, not even young people, but everyone feels like if you're on the news, you're technically kind of like celebrity status and you're unapproachable. And I hate that stigma because I promise I'm probably the most approachable person ever. I love people. I love talking. I love learning why people are the way that they are, how they got to where they are today. I love stories. And a lot of young girls don't feel like they can just talk to the news lady. But then when they see, my letters or they see my curls or anything like that, and maybe their mom's an AKA or their grandma or something like that, it's like that little bit of like it brings me down to reality. Like, oh, I can talk to her. She's a regular person. She went to school. She, joined an organization just like so-and-so in my life. And I really want to get the message clear that we're not celebrities. We're not famous. We're really just telling stories that matter. And that's what I like to always say is I just tell stories for a living. I talk for a living. I don't ever say like I'm on TV. No, I just talk. I talk and tell stories for a living. And I love people. So if anybody sees this and they see me out, please come talk to me. Please tell me your story. I want tell me your gossip. Oh my goodness, tell me your gossip.
Okay, you want to get into some gossip? Okay, let's gossip a little bit. So, because we are the Mo Diversity crew, we also talk about TV shows and movies and things like that. So, what's your current series that you love, or what's your favorite movie that you've seen? Are you a nerd? Do you like comics?
I'm not.
And it's okay.
My brother's the biggest nerd. He's an anime fan. Kingdom Hearts, I know the entire song because while we were growing up. He's very big into all of that, so I love it. I respect it. It's not my thing, but I support it. I will grow on it day because me and my brother are really close. But
so
what?
Oh no! So all I'm saying is, off of that, then you wouldn't mind saying into the camera right now that your favorite comic book series is Justice League crossover with Power Rangers.
Are you familiar with Justice League?
Ignore him. But no, what's your favorite show that you're watching right now?
Okay, so hear me out. I love reality TV, but I never got into the Real Housewives series. So like I would see it, it would just be on. Like my mom used to watch Real Housewives in Atlanta, so I knew I was familiar. However, I actually caught COVID earlier this year. Side note, right on my birthday. Awful. Well, I was home for 2 weeks, and I was like, I watched everything. I know everything. I said, wait a second. I've been hearing about the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj wants to host the reunion. That's important. Why? Let me check it out. From the first episode, that was 3 weeks ago, and I'm already on season 6.
Yes, catch up.
Stop. I am obsessed. I think that is the greatest thing to ever grace this television. I think that I want to move to DC because of it.
Yeah.
Become a housewife.
I'm gonna go ahead and tag Andy and be like, please. In the future, please put Camille on. Because when I say I would stand, I'm standing right. Oh God.
I'm obsessed. Oh my gosh, I'm about to go watch it after this. Let's be honest. Yeah. While I'm doing chores, while I'm literally doing anything, it's playing. It's playing. I'm listening. I'm watching. I have it on my phone. I'm
gonna be on you now because, like, when I say Potomac is my favorite, and then it goes Atlanta, then Beverly Hills. But Potomac is my ultimate favorite, and I can't wait to ask you how you feel once you are fully caught up because it just keeps getting messy.
Let's talk about it. We'll talk about it all day. If I could do a podcast on it. We can talk all day. We'll spin off this podcast.
Okay, I got look. The wheels are turning. I got you.
Well, Camille, Mike and Avia do have their new show. What's the Tea with MD?
Okay.
So
let's do it.
I believe that's a nice avenue for you guys to talk Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yes, when you are fully caught up, we will have a special episode that actually, because one of my things that I like when people watch TV shows or movies, I love reactions. So I like to talk about how did you react to when Monique and Candace, or how did you react when Giselle, I'm gonna have to ask you. So once you're fully caught up, because this last season, hot mess.
And the whole time, even last night when I was watching it, I'm just like, I'm yelling, like I'm talking out loud, like they can hear me. I have a friend who's watching with me, and I'm voice noting her. I'm like, can you believe something? Like I am really into it. I need to be on there.
Yes,
I'm
so here for it. And what about a movie that you've seen that's been good for you?
Get Camille to host our reunion.
Who?
Yes.
Reunion. Yes.
Because I have questions, and I'm gonna ask like, why does nobody check Candace in her mouth and let her do whatever she wants and then cry about it, and we're supposed to just be like, oh, sorry, Candace. Candace telling homegirl that her mom is low budget and don't get it. Like, bro, I could go on.
Look, Camille, Camille, we having wine later this week because we gotta talk about that because, like, I don't like Candace at all.
I have so many questions. Everybody's asking. I'm like, no, is it the edit? Because there's no way that y'all let her get away with that.
It's the edit. I'm gonna tell you, I'll give you this. I think this season, after last season with the whole situation with Monique,
right?
With this season, I think they wanted to make her, have this redemption season, but it still doesn't go in her favor.
It's not working. It's not working. Whatever they're doing is not working. And they should just take her off the show. Whatever, that's my... I don't think she adds anything. The music videos, whack. I don't think she adds anything. Because what are you a housewife of, right? Like, your man is the house husband. So,
oh my God!
The title is not clicking. The title is
oh my God!
The math is not mathing.
Camille, life just now like.
No, it's not clicking.
Y'all already know I'm addicted to the Real Housewives. The fact you just bless me like that, I'm good.
Love it.
Do you have anything from us that you would like to ask before we close up and wrap up?
Yeah, I actually really want to know when you heard that you were interviewing a news anchor. What is your first perspective on the news industry and news anchors? Like, what did you think when you first heard that you were going to be talking to a news anchor? That can be for anyone.
An insight into how someone who dedicates their life into telling other stories, to get the information, because we live in such an age where, oh, if something I disagree with is being told, then it's fake. It's not real. But to actually sit and speak with someone who knows that's never been the case. They're just talking about things that they are told. They're telling a story, giving you the tools to come to the conclusion and get the information. And in your case, giving positive stories so you can see the betterment, the way the world is moving in a positive way.
I like that answer. Pretend I said that.
I just wanted to get a personal perspective of Black anchor in news, because I went to HBCU, Grambling State University, and some of my friends have become anchors in local television stations as well. So I haven't been able to talk to them, but talking to you, I really got a perspective of what it is like as a Black female in news.
For me, when I first met you, I was like, I would say starstruck, because it's just the way you carry yourself. You are, I just, like you said, we was talking even that day.
Yeah.
So the fact that when I first asked you about even coming on the podcast, I was just more intrigued because of your accomplishment as a news anchor. I mean, I've watched the news all my life, but to see you be who you are as a news anchor, I was encouraged and I was inspired for what we do on our podcast.
Yeah.
This podcast has gave me a voice to talk about the things that I love, and also have me my best friends now and my family right here. So the fact, like I said, it just seeing you where you were, and I looked you up and I was watching, I was like, oh yeah, she's amazing. You're dope. You're a blessing to all of us, seriously.
And I did want to kind of touch back on the question about, is it hard for me to tell stories about, Black women? But I do want to reiterate that there are some stories that do fall through the cracks. And it's important for the community and people who watch us and have stories to tell us. We cannot know everything that's going on. A lot of our stories come straight from the police department. Comes from national news. We do pull, our stories from national news. The rest are things that we go and find. We'll go into the Nextdoor app and see somebody complaining about, I don't know if you might be familiar, but we had a story about anti-Semitic flyers blaming Jewish people for causing COVID. Those are being left on people's doors. And we found that through the Nextdoor app, because they were like, hey, did anybody receive this flyer? Did you receive this flyer? And then there's 1,000 people in this one neighborhood saying that they received the flyer. That's a news story. But if we didn't check those apps, we wouldn't know. Or we go to Facebook groups or things like that. So as much as people feel like we cultivate these stories, and I wake up one day and I just want to make something up and lie on television, we can't. That's actually illegal. We have to tell a story from an unbiased perspective. We have to be objective. It has to be factual. Everything that we say in a story is either what was told to us during an interview with a witness, or a character is what we like to call them, or the police department, or some type of credible source. So I do want to kind of paint that picture that it's if you want your story told, you have to bring it to us. We won't know about it. There's a lot of times where you're like, why isn't this in the news? Or why didn't we see this on local news tonight? It's well, how would we know about it? We work 8 hours just like you do. We go to work, we go home, we cook and go to bed. We're not really scouring all platforms that hold the medium of telling information. So be our eyes in the community, and let us know so that we can tell your story. We want nothing more than to tell your story. So I kind of want to get that out there if I can to anybody.
No,
that's awesome.
Person of saying, hey, we're not just making these up. We're not only telling coronavirus stories. It's because those are the big stories, and that's where we can get the most accurate information from. And we just branch off, and we can tell it at a local angle. But we would love to tell local stories from the people that live here and watch us on a daily basis.
And we love it. And we hope that you continue to be able to excel, you and your team at the studio, and that you can all do everything that you need to do for the local community as well. Awesome. So this has been fun. How you feel? Is this your first interview?
Yes, like on something like this. Yes, absolutely. I have an award ceremony next week. I'm being awarded a Black Excellence Award with the Film and Lacey P.
That's awesome.
Write a speech. I was like, right? Okay. Like, it's like these are just. I stick in news mode and like story mode and that kind of thing. So this is different to branch out with, and that's going to be different, a different way to just like tell my story and
yes.
And just, I really want to inspire so many other people that if this is your dream, like I said, I've been wanting to do this since I was a little girl, and I really fought and found a way. And there were so many closed doors, 200 no's. And I just needed that one yes. So I really want to continue to do things like this so that I can just reach at least one person who might be feeling discouraged and needs that extra push to keep going. So thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun, and I'm truly honored to tell my story and to be with amazing people who are very welcoming, and I just feel really comfortable. Like I've been a part of this before.
We look like we proud of making sure that you are like, we invite people. We want you to make sure that like our house is your house. Come in, be yourself. If you like, people know who we are when they watch our YouTube channel and they watch our podcast. They know who we are. We're easy bunch.
Yes.
You know?
Help yourself to our hot pockets and cookies and cream, ice cream and whatnot. Let us know what you want from McDonald's.
So I got you.
Yes,
So,
you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank
But I think
you
we
for
gonna,
joining us. Thank you for coming
yeah,
on.
thank you. Like that was really, really great. I want you to intro yourself out. Just tell the people where they can find you and everything. I'm gonna put you by yourself.
Me by myself? Hello. Well, again, my name is Camille Gayle. I'm currently the morning anchor with WXLV ABC 45 News in the Triad. You can find me on Instagram at Camille Gayle _TV. That's the same for my Twitter, and on Facebook at Camille Gayle.
Whoop, whoop.
Nice. No, but thank you so much. You already know who we are. The Mo Diversity family. Catch us every Wednesday, maybe Friday, playing Mario Kart. And we are out of here. Everybody say bye, peace, whatever.
Bye.